So this is the flight deck control software. What it is a map of all of the sensors and the parameters we can assign to them. Up in the top corner we have where we select the USB modem, which is the Arduino inside of the flight deck. This is how we connect to the computer. It will scan for the USB, initialize, and then tell us when it's ready. It's initialized now. So we have across the bottom here the notes which are assigned to each of the sensors and the control change values which we can transmit if we want to. What we'd do first is select our trigger threshold, which is this slider here, and that detects when our hand has come into the beam, so you can use it to select the cutoff point. There's a smoothing fader which interpolates between incoming sensor values, giving a sort of smoothing and noise rejection effect, and the release control, which allows the signal to decay as long as you want it to. In the MIDI configuration panel here, we could select our MIDI output, which is where the software is going to send all of the data it generates. We'll normally send it through an internal bus, but it can be sent through an external one. But using an internal one, we can then send it to a sequencer and control software synthesizers. Once we've got it transmitting through that bus, we can map some notes. So here we'll select our route, which will assign to the first sensor, and then by selecting the scale, it will then apply all the notes to the ascending sensors in the correct order. For example, if we want, say, E and a minor scale, if we then send that through, that will now have assigned all of the correct notes, and there's a velocity setting as well here we can change. Another setting of the software is to respond to MIDI control data for the lights that comes from a sequencer. So on an internal MIDI bus here we can select the source, so we'll receive the data from Maximus P1, and we'll select our lighting mode as MIDI controlled mode. So if we go into a sequencer, here I have programmed in MIDI control data on 3 different channels for red, green and blue, and it's going to Maximus P1 up here. So if I play this song, if I just arm this track as well, actually, it means I can play in some music data. And yeah, if we play this song, so that's just an extra level of control over the flight deck, good for a performance maybe, an extra level of visual appeal. And that sums up the software, I think.